Hello and welcome back. It's been a while. We're going to do some Laravel Fortify stuff today. So I've been looking at what I can do with like Laravel Jetstream and Laravel Fortify, and it always frustrates me a little bit. Hey, Benjamin, thanks for coming. And Jetstream's great. Don't get me wrong, it gives you some fantastic functionality. But what it doesn't give me is the control I want. So we're going to do that today. I'm going to hide this beard and we're going to get to the code. So let's do this. I've got a repo here. I'm just going to show that at the bottom of the screen. And here we go. If you want to see that, github.com, just Steve King, Fortify Skeleton. I started working on it last night. It's super simple. It's got a few little bits in it. And that's about it. We can log in. And we're going to be able to register once that's up and running. So I'm just going to hide this brand thingy. Where is it? Banners. There it is. If I don't respond, I do apologize. I'm a little bit unorganized today. So let's just get NPM up and running. And let's get our queue running in the background. And then we got Artisan where we need it. Fantastic. So let's go. So that is up and running. So let's go to Chrome, create a free account, go back to my sign in page. All some simple stuff really. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what I've done so far. So I've installed Laravel Fortify, and we've got our pages here. Inside our app providers, we've got our Fortify service provider. And what this is doing is it's registering our views and registering our actions. So we've gone through all of the Fortify views and registered which view we want to use. And then here are the actions that come by default. And that is it. Then I like to tuck the rate limits away in this rate limit service provider, so I can just kind of keep them all here, keep them clean, keep them in one place. Easy to find, easy to manage. So then if we come down to like auth login, for example, we've got a guest layout component, which takes the page title and a message. We then have a live wire component and a slot where we can just say text link, register. And I've broken a lot of these into components. So we've got like our base page, our guest layout, and then our app layout. Inside UI, we've got things like a container, text as H2 link and nav link. Then we've got some icons and we've got form submit there. So we've got a few things that we've got going on. It's nothing too complicated. Sorry for bothering me. I wanted to offer promotion. Sounds like spam. Looks like we're getting spam in the chat from Twitch. Fantastic. Right, so what I'm going to do, I've got an account already, so I'm just going to go ahead and log in. And we'll show you how that form works. Ta-da, I'm in. I don't know why that scrolls on. That's ugly. Hi, PHP form. So if we come over to our Livewire stuff, what we'll notice is in auth login form, we're just using Filament here. So if we come to Livewire for auth login form, we implement has forms. We're typing that property up there. We interact with the forms. Here's the data. When we mount the component, we fill out the form by default. Then we have our form here. We have a text input and we have a password input, and we're mapping that state to the data. Then we're going to attempt to get the form state and basically auth attempt passing through the form state, remember, is true by default. And then if it fails, it just throws a quick validation exception on the email. Although I believe this needs to be form.email, I am not 100% sure. Then if we pass that, we just redirect to the home page. Super simple, super clean. So now let's just close all of those tabs. Go to Chrome. We've got Chrome up and running. I don't know why this is scrolling. FlexCol. Overflow Y auto. That'll be it. So come over to our app. Components. App. And we are looking for the Overflow Y hidden. What is going on here? Something's gone wonky donkey here. Let me have a look. X data, show, blah, blah, relative. And that is on the page, which is here. It's got H full. Is there anything I am missing? This is where I don't know styling well enough. Yep, that email you got about 2 billion from a rich old dude was completely fake, unfortunately. Now, why is this still scrolling? I think it's because of that, personally. So let's go have a look at our app. No, it's nothing to do with that. Let's see. Nope. Something maybe I won't worry about right now. Fixed insert left, blah, blah, block width 20, LG overflow Y auto. Where are you hiding? LG over. This. There we go. I got it how I wanted it. We got an issue going there, not a problem. So what I've got is we got a home page, we got a user account menu over there, and we've got a little commandy thingy going on just for fun. Obviously, all of this is open source over here, so feel free to have a play. So let's log out quickly. And let's go back to PHP Storm. And let's walk through this part. So let's look at our register form next. Data. Form that we need, we've got a text input for the name, text input for the email, and then a text input for the password. I believe I can add revealable to make it super funky. State path, then submit. What we're going to do is we're injecting the Fortify contract into the method, and we're also injecting the auth manager. And then what we want to do is say auth login. The user that we want to log in is a result of action create, getting the form state, and then redirecting. We're not handling any errors at this point, but we could probably handle errors at some point with zero issues. And obviously then we're just rendering. So all of that should work. So if I just migrate fresh, so migrate fresh, I'm not going to seed this time. So obviously if I try to log in, it shouldn't let me. It's not showing up any errors. I don't know what's going on with that, but here we go. We can go Steve McDougall, just Steve MCD at gmail.com, and the password is password. Click to reveal, much nicer. And we're getting an exception. What's going on? That should have worked. Let's see if we've got nothing in the queue. That's all working fine. Come to the register form. Let's make sure that is actually working. Auth login. What does login return void? Create user model. So what we'll do is we'll grab that and we'll just put this up here. And we'll say that our user is equal to that if no user. For now, we'll just quickly dump and just say test. So Steve McDougall, just stevemcd@gmail.com. I heard that there's a really cool Chrome plugin that you can use for these sorts of forms. If anyone knows it, drop it in the comments and that'd be awesome. So that should be passing. That should be working because we're not doing anything here. So let's dump on the user. I'm going to copy my email to make it quicker for next time. Okay, so we are hitting something. Let's go check out the view and the form and see what's going on. So down in our register form, auth register form, auth register form, wire submit, register forms, submit. So submit is coming there. That's got the form. Mounting the form, filling the form. Here's all the input. All of that should be working when submit is coming here. So what I would do instead is this form get state. So we get in a state. We have progress. Howdy, howdy, howdy. What was that? So you're telling me that, yeah, read that one. Okay, so come back to PHP Storm. So we've got the state. And we want create a new user action. So what happens if we say action create this form get state? Let's test that one out. Something is happening in the action. So create new user, blah, 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 validation, this password rules, defaults. I'm not doing a password confirmation. That is what's going wrong. And the errors aren't showing for some reason. I need to have a look at that. So let's say password, confirmation, label, confirmation, revealable, so Steve, nope. And we've got a user. So that was what was wrong. We got there. Thank God. Right. Let's just migrate fresh. And then let's just close that off. And what we're going to do is also pull in that auth manager. This creates new users. We're going to pull in the contract instead of the implementation. Blah, 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 blah. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. However, we should be able to say event new registered auth events. And that accepts the user. And let's just fix that up there. So we can still emit events and redirect and do things. Eventually, what I'd like to do is take this and put it inside a specific class, so it's a little bit cleaner. So back to this. Password, and we're in. Let's go check this, and we should, at this point, have verified email. Ta-da! So what I'll do, I'm going to copy the link, come over to Chrome, and verify my email. Verified, blah, blah, blah. Awesome. Let's come back to Table Plus, and let's go see email verified. Yes, all of that is now in there. And what we want to do is do some more stuff. So like Jetstream's got a really good way to manage your profile. I kind of like that, but I want to see what else I can do with it. So if I come to PHP Storm again, what we're going to do is close all of these views, pages, settings, profile. I made a test page here. So what I need to do is make sure I can route to it. Routes. So once we are logged in, we want to have like routes, prefix, settings, as settings. Let's just close that so you can see better. And then we're going to group the static fallback, and we're going to say root view. And this will be pages, settings, profile. Yeah. I'm just going to call that profile. So now if we root list quickly and just see what we've got registered, make sure it's all in there. We should have a settings as pages, settings, profile. Nice view, and we're going to lean on Filament and Livewire to do all of the stuff that we actually care about. So inside Livewire, we've got a account user menu. This is the user menu that you'll see, and I got this one from Pines. DevDojo Pines is absolutely fantastic for kind of tool stack components. You can literally come down and say, I want the drop-down menu, and it's literally just this. And it just works so much nicer. Styled slightly differently, but that's just me. So what we want to do is we have got our profile settings here. So we can now say root, pages, settings, profile. Come back to Chrome, profile settings, and we are now on the settings page. What do we need here? That is kind of the question. So we're going to want something from like Tailwind UI. So we browse components, application, and come down to like the settings screen, this one here. What is the dev environment you're using? This is just Laravel Herd. I'm using Laravel Herd. Then I've got DB Engine up and running to run a database in the background. And then I've got Hilo from Beyond Code just to catch my emails. And Table Plus as a database editory thingy majiggy. Right, what was I doing? Where was I? Profile and settings. So I like this layout. This one's kind of cool. Any archived examples that I would prefer? I kind of like this. I'm not going to lie. I do like this where you can kind of click through and each one's separated. So maybe I will go and just like grab this, copy element, and what we're going to do is just see what this looks like if I drop it in place. And let's just go check it out. So that's not bad. Can be tweaked, it can be improved, but it's going to see me for what I need. So, secondary sidebar, hidden, flex, border, backgrounds, slate 50, and dark, we are going to do BG slate 900. Border slate 200, and then on dark screens we're going to do a border slate 950. Well, that's all 100. It's got some width. Flex cull, and I don't want it to be flex. You know what? I don't like that anymore. Change my mind. Let's just remove that. Let's go for something a bit simpler, like this. Maybe it's got that on the side. That's all at the top. Yeah, that will do. Something like this, I think, is going to be the best bet. This is nice, but I don't like the mobile version of it, so we're going to go for this. So let's inspect this, and we're just going to go grab literally all of this, copy that element. This is how I like to do UI because it just works. All right, paste that in, come back to Chrome, make sure it doesn't look hideous, and yeah, that will do. Now, all the way up to top. Just say this component here, I can say swap that for a container, and we're going to grab that and put it in there. Yeah, that'll be it. Come back to Chrome. Still looks pretty much the same. Can fix some styling as we go if we need to. Got payment details there. So that's kind of like the view. So what we want in here, we're going to want components. And then we're going to have like a settings screen. Blade.php. So we've got this part here. So props, we're going to want a title, which is going to default to the config app.name. Then We're going to pass title through to there. Close off that container, and we're going to close off the app too. So inside this container, we are going to have a grid and then two different parts. So here's the grid. This is where I guess the main content is going to go. And then we've got this part here. No, sorry, this is the main content. So we're going to have this for the content, and then up here we're going to have something that stays static for this view, which is this side menu here. So inside here, all we need to do is we're going to grab this section for now, and we're going to say X settings screen, and the title is profile settings. Drop that in, come back to Chrome, and it now looks the same, but it's a lot easier to add setting screens. Hey, Daniel. Hey, everybody. Right, PHP Storm, back to this bit. This bit we're going to do filament for, but this part here needs a little bit of tweaking. So we're going to remove the text gray and remove the hover text stuff for now. Remove this X state rubbish that I hate. And there we go. Right, so we've got the profile, and then this root is going to be root pages settings profile. All the others can be removed for now because we don't actually have any others yet. So we can also wire navigate on that bit, remove that text gray. And we're going to say hover text indigo 500 for this. Get this X state stuff out of the way again because we don't want it. Going to keep the fill and all that stuff. Awesome. So come back to Chrome. We got a profile. Fantastic. Right. I'm still seeing some text that I don't like the color of. Stroke width, font medium. I'm not seeing. Okay, so we're going to say hover background is going to be slate 100. Dark hover background is going to be slate 800. Come back to Chrome. Yeah, that's a little bit better. There we go. Maybe we'll set that down to like 700 and this up to 200, just so it's got a nice contrast. There we go. Switch to light mode quickly. And that's not bad either. Go back to dark mode and we're good. So that is all of that. So down on our profile, we've got I like to do an ID here, so we're going to have like profile settings, and then that we are labeled by is going to be the profile settings. Get rid of the background white. Awesome. So this form, what we can do here is something very similar to what we've got down here. We can just say, here's a form. This is what we want to do. So go to this form and say no, thank you. drop that form in instead. No, we can't because that's not Livewire yet. So this part here, it needs to be a Livewire component. So we can say a Livewire make settings profile form. Actually, what I'm going to do is delete that. Yes. We're going to make sure we add a pest test as well. So up here, we can say Livewire settings.profile-form. Chrome, all good. And settings screen, what we want to do. What do we want to do? First off, let's just drop that in there. We'll fix that up in a second. The settings screen, what we want to do is grab all of this. So A is going to be wire navigate. Bit of this, bit of that, and then we're going to say class so request root is pages settings profile, and then we'll just do the same for now and say request root is pages settings profile form not found profile form implements as forms, use interactive forms. That's there. So basically what we want to do here is, if it is the right page, we want to do this and that. That's better. So that will show us the active ones. And then the non-active ones. I'm happy with that for now. So let's come back to this form, this profile form here. What I like to do is, just to kind of like appease static analysis, is to add a property at the top. Let's just fix that whole file quickly. I also like to say that this returns a view, and instead of using the view helper, I like to inject the view factory as a factory, and then we can just swap this to be the factory make the view. Next up, public array data default to an empty array, and what we want to do is on mount. So public function mount void this form fill. And we want to design our form, public function form, and we want to return the form schema and set the state path to be data. All good so far. So come back to PHP Storm and we can start designing this. So if we look at our user model, for example, we've got name, email, password, avatar, lots of things that could be changed. So we want the text input, make, and we're going to say name. The label is going to be name. It is required, and we're going to say that a max length of 255, just because it's a varchar. We come back to Chrome, and we can now edit our name using Filament. Then that button we can change, and we can say profile form, settings, profile form. Let's say update profile. There we go. Wire submit, we'll go to submit. So we need a submit method. So public function submit. For now, we're just going to return void and do nothing. So there is something here that we can do. Update user profile information, so we can get name and email from this. So we can get this in our update action. And we can say action, update, user is the auth user, and the input is this form get state. That kind of works. So auth user, blah, blah, blah. That's going to cause an issue, but not a big issue. So we can actually update it. However, we want to make sure that we're filling the form when it loads. So we can set a default state. So we can say that our name is auth user name. So then if you come back to Chrome, by default, it will work. Coming back to PHP Storm, and this expects a name and an email, both of which are required. So we need to make sure that we also pass through the email. So text input make email. Email. And we want to make sure that we default this as well. So Chrome, there we go. Update information. That's been updated. So that works and does what we need to. But did you notice that when I do that, update the profile, that updates, this doesn't? Let's change that. So we want to go to our user menu component here. We've got a computed thing going on here. We're rendering, got a logout button. What we want is public function refresh. This reset. And we will say that this is on profile updated. So then on our profile form, once we've updated the user, what we can do is say this dispatch profile updated. Come back to Chrome. And if you pay attention just up here, it updates for us with no problems. Fantastic. Right. So that's that part done. We can update profile information, and we're going to leverage all of this stuff. If we include the email, update verified user, and that will say update, send verification, email notification. So let's go and make sure that part is actually still working. So if we say update profile, email. Lots of emails, apparently. And if we come back to table plus, refresh, this should no longer be verified. So all is good. So we can update that information. And one thing I mentioned on Twitter the other day was being able to update like your avatar, for example. So let's create a page for that. Or maybe we'll add it to the same page component thingy, profile form, this. So profile form, no, pages profile is what I want. Profile settings, we're going to add another one. And this one is going to be profile avatar. That's Chrome, see how that looks, reasonable enough for now. Settings screen. And what we're going to have here is a slot. And this bit is going to be attributes merge class. There we go. So that's currently got a space Y6. But what I think would be better here is if we did like a class of space Y12 maybe. A little bit better. So right, let's just work on this next component. So we don't actually need to make a Livewire component because I have partially built one. So we've got this avatar manager component, which just kind of does its thing, and I'll show you how that works. So if I come to settings, we're going to create a new class called profile avatar. This is going to extend the avatar manager, and all it requires is a submit. Literally all it needs. So when you submit this, eventually we're just going to say like this reset. But before we do that, we want to say auth user update the avatar for this avatar and this dispatch profile updated. So that's simple. Come over to our profile page and we're going to say profile avatar. Come back to Chrome and we got it. So if I say I want to use just Steve King and GitHub preview. Okay. I need to make sure I write things properly. Right, that's Chrome. So just Steve King, GitHub preview, and it will go and fetch my GitHub avatar. Or I could say, okay, how about my Telegram avatar? Or maybe I just want YouTube. Then I could save, and I'll update up there, and that is my avatar done. That's simple. So yeah, that's the avatar component. So I just came in now. Sorry if I missed something, but isn't Jetstream there exactly for the reason we don't have to create all the forms ourselves? It's more of a learning reason, and at the same time, it's also Jetstream doesn't work well enough for me. I like to do things my way, and I think leaning on Filament is a much better idea for something like Auth, because you're focusing more on just putting the pieces together. So you can use Filament and Fortify to build something much better than Jetstream, in my opinion, anyway. So come back here. That's all done. There's the identifier. So what we could probably do here is on the settings screen, and on settings, we're just going to say avatar.blade.php. Back to profile. We're just going to copy this for now into there and drop that first one. Profile avatar. Back to profile, and we don't want that one there. So we could then add another one here. So root, view, avatar, pages setting avatar, name avatar. Come over to here, make sure we have got the link for it. So let's just grab that and let's just add another. And this one is going to be called avatar, avatar, come back to Chrome, and look, there we go. Bing. Nice and easy to manage. Using Wire Navigate just makes it so much quicker and cleaner. And this is what I mean about Jetstream's good, but it's not good enough. It doesn't have all of this in place. And yes, you can manage and maintain it yourself or update it and customize it. But when I want to start an app and I want to like the Jetstream functionality, I don't want to play with it. I just want it to work. So let's see if I can say avatar info. We're going to use this for the profile information. And the way I like to add icons is I have a components icons directory, and we're just going to create this one, and we're going to say info.blade.php. Swap this data slot here for attributes. Come over to our settings screen, and what I can do instead, I can grab all of this and swap this component out for x icons.info. Got the class in, come back to Chrome, and much better. Avatar, profile, sorted. You can then come over, and we've got one more thing that we can add from these actions here, and that would be update user password. Current password, password, current password, all good. So I'm at Chrome. I was going to make sure that I got like a user or something like that. Something like this one. I'm going to swap that for the user. PHP Storm, icons, user.blade.php. Swap this out for attributes. On the settings screen, then all I need to do is literally grab the same thing and replace that with user, Chrome, profile, avatar, fingerprint for password. Then we're going to just name this one security.blade.php. Add some attributes. We're going to come down to our settings, and we're going to say password.blade.php. You know, do something relatively similar. We're just going to keep that there for now. And we're just going to say update password, user password, user password for now. in our settings screen, what we can then do is, again, copy this and say passwords. Replace that, replace that. There's probably a way I could simplify a lot of this, but I haven't yet. Password, security, come over to our roots and make sure that is all hooked up as well. Password, password, password. Come back to Chrome. Password, avatar, profile, perfect. Now we can make that form. So a Livewire make, we don't want a profile form, we want a password form. So then if we come back to the password here, settings, and we can just say password form. Over here, we've got a profile form, and we're going to say, delete that and say update password. Then on our Livewire settings password form, this one will implement as forms. It will use interactive forms. And we can just do what we have been doing. And this will have view, factory, make view, fix that file, public array, data, public function, mount, void, this form fill, public function form, return form schema, state path, and the state is data. So then all the way over here, we can say, let's add things. That should be path, not state. Path. Let's add this submit, public function submit, void. And we want to update user password, implement update user passwords. So password form here on the submit action. And we can say action, update, user is auth. User input is this form get state. So let's try and understand what we need. Let's close some of these down. Roots, update user passwords, password form is done, user, avatar, settings screen. So we need, it's going to validate current password and password. So we need a text input for current passwords. The label is going to be current password. It's going to be required. It's going to have a max length of 255. Can be revealable. And that's it for now. And then we're going to say text input make password, label password, max length. I believe we need to also add password, otherwise it won't work the way I want it to. Password. Come back to Chrome. Come over to password. Current password should be password. Double check. And new password. Update password. No issues there. What we want to do is look at once that has passed, force fill, blah, blah, blah. What we're going to do is this redirect, and we're going to go back to the pages settings profile. So it's visible that new password. So it's obvious that it's worked. That didn't work, something failed. So nothing happening there. Components, effects, turns null. It'd be nice if I could see something there. So let's just do something here. So composer require dev. Yeah, let's just install all of that. Debug bar, pint, and all the good stuff. Come back to Chrome, close that off, and let's say exceptions. So password, new password, update. Settings form. Haha, that's never going to pass. No exceptions being thrown. Password, name, blah, 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 data, models, queries, update, sessions, payload, blah, blah, blah. Stuff is going on. What we probably want here is some form of flat messaging as well, right? Password confirm. I did it again. New password is going to want a confirmation. Confirm new password. Come back to Chrome. So current password is password. Let's just make sure we can see all of them to start with. New password and new password, update, and we've redirected, and our password has been updated. Fantastic. So we can do a password, update our avatar, work with our profile. Really good. So what else is there on Fortify? There is, come back to PHP Storm. I'm pretty sure there's like a two-factor thingy. Password, reset user password, profile information, Fortify. So a root list. We've got two-factor. Post user two-factor authentication. That's going to go to two-factor enable. Confirm two-factor. So we need another settings page that says enable two-factor auth, basically. So let's just grab an icon. Maybe we'll do something like a phone, device phone. Come down to icons, and we're just going to add a new file called phone.blades.php. I'm going to pass in our attributes. Come down to our settings screen. And let's just duplicate this again. I'm going to find a nice way to do this. Two-factor auth. This one's going to be phone. Come back to Chrome, and here we go. Two-factor auth, password, avatar, all going the right direction. So come down to this two-factor challenge settings, two-factor grade.php. And we're going to do something very similar to this. We're just going to say two-factor auth as the ID and as the label. So then on our settings menu here, we can then change that to two-factor auth, two-factor, actually pretty sure it's just two-factor, settings, two-factor, two-factor, and two-factor. Root pages, settings, two-factor not defined. Come back to our roots and we can just enable that, password, and two-factor. Awesome. So if we go to github.com, Laravel, get screen. Let's go see what happens on the stubs for Livewire, Fuse, auth. That's two-factor challenge. Profile. Two-factor authentication form. What does it have on it? So if enabled, if showing confirmation, setup key. If it's showing confirmation, we want to show that. So we need to create something similar to this. So let's have a look. Is it in HTTP, Livewire, two-factor authentication form? Let's just try and have a look at this. So we need to say confirms password, got some stuff to do, get user property, auth user, get enabled property. Okay, cool. So let's go and create our 2FA form. So a Livewire make settings two-factor form. Close that off, close that off. And this two-factor settings two-factor form, come back to Chrome, make sure that this is working. Enable two-factor authentication. Update password, profile avatar, profile settings. Cool. So that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done, and that's done. So now in Livewire settings, this needs to look like this. So two-factor form, let's just do this. And we're just going to say enable to start with. The Chrome. Now we need to work on that component. So we are getting there. Yeah, Livewire and Filament are just so nice together, right? So let's just start getting this ready. You can say factory, view, factory, and make, and the view is that. Let's fix that, and we're going to say that property form. This is then going to implement forms, use interacts with forms, public array data, that public function, mount, void, this form fill, and then we're just going to say public function and the form return form schema state path is data. Come back to Chrome, and we've got the 2FA stuff ready to go. So what do we need? What do we need? I'm going to have a quick Ribena break, and we'll crack back on. How's everyone finding it? Is everyone having fun? Is everyone enjoying it? Good, bad, average? Let's go. All right. I'll keep my beard up for a little bit so we can kind of chat. All right. So this uses mostly Fortify, other than this confirms password trait here. And this will just do some magic, which I'm not going to worry about. So we're going to say showing QR code. We're just going to copy parts of this right now, and then we'll figure out if it's what we want to do. First step is getting it working, showing confirmation. Showing recovery code. Then we're going to have a public null string code null. So if two factors enabled and all views are confirmed at disable two factor. So that features does come from there. So let's just copy that. Come to here inside of our mount. Let's just do that. So features, we can import that class. Auth user, let's just import that. Disable two-factor authentication, and we can import that. And let's just fix all of this. Why is it complaining? Costs less than the previous one. Okay. In that case, we want that to go first. That's just going to complain about potential polymorphic. So we can do that and hope for the best. Right, that's all that. So come to Chrome. We've got enable two-factor authentication. That's loading with no problems. So Fortify actions, and let's just grab it. We're going to have this. Import that. Ensure password is confirmed. We will add in a second. Features, blah, blah, blah. Lots of cool stuff. Everything's working other than this. Void return. And we're just going to return it. Fantastic. All right, come back to Chrome. Confirm two-factor authentication. Let's also do this. Import that. This is a void return. Ensure password is confirmed. Unhandled exception, not a big deal. Show recovery code. Again, a void return. Features and ensure password is confirmed. Regenerate recovery codes. Grab this. And what I think would work here is we want to implement pretty much the same thing as GetStream. It's mainly the view and minimal things that I would change. Very, very little that I would change on this. Because if I'm honest, the way that this works, it's nice. The way that the Laravel team have built this, it works and it just works nicely. So determine if two-factor is enabled. So this enabled property. So this is props basically, which we can use computed properties for now. So we can say down here, we're just going to say public function user return auth user, and this will return. Let's just generate that return. There we go. Authenticatable. Let's simplify this, and we can add computed. Now enabled, we can grab this. Public function enabled. Going to be a Boolean. Going to basically return this, and again computed. That is really good so far. Come back to Chrome. The only thing we haven't done is this confirms passwords. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this across the crate for now, and we'll worry about how it might work. So Livewire concerns new confirms passwords, and it's a trait. Confirms passwords. This is a Boolean. This is a nullable string. This is a string, return void. This dispatch, return void. What I'm going to do to fix part of this, mixin component. Factory name. There we go. Right. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Don't need those. This dispatch returns a potential event. Cool. Yeah, let's do that as well. Event or null. Or we could just return that instead, actually. That'll simplify that one. Cool. Return void, don't need. Confirm the user's password. And we can import that one. Import that one. Import that. And import that. All good. Null int, return void. Why is this complaining? I'm just going to ignore that for now. Int null again. Return this user's password has been recently confirmed. Password confirmed. Return nothing. Again, config. Okay, so that's a board. So good. Turn. Lots of cool stuff. Okay, so let's quickly look at these issues. Expression is not used anywhere. That will return true or not. So basically, I should be able to just do that. No, that should be correct, I think. Okay, so this needs to be done a little bit better. If that if not abort. There we go, and then we can fix it a little bit. Not going to worry about that. Not used, unhandled. Two-factor form. Right, then this one can go. Use confirm passwords. That should resolve a lot of that stuff. Come back to Chrome. Nothing going wrong there. Yeah. Ooh. The code load. Sorry, my internet may have gone a little bit wobbly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide my face so that it's only streaming my screen and hope that just works. Right. Let's just add some of this content and start seeing how it works. Let's just wrap it in a section for now. Drop that in there. With Chrome. You have not enabled two-factor authentication. Perfect. I didn't want to yet. Should showing QR code, X input, there's a form there. We will worry about getting that looking the right way afterwards. So this is just an input. Worry about the code error in a moment. And we're just going to say label there. Okay, so if, and if, and if, and if. Cool. Showing code also goes within that one. For each JSON decode, lots of stuff. Then we've got this part here. This div there. We're just going to grab that. We're going to modify this shortly. Let's just do that for now. Come back to Chrome. Confirms password. So that confirms password stuff. Let's go look at some of these view components here and see what they are. So to do resources, not going to be in there. Livewire perhaps, view components. So confirms password, X dialog, blah, 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 span, slot, confirmable. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy some of these across. Confirms passwords.blade. And we will worry about refactoring once we know it all works. So confirms passwords. Confirm password dot blade.php. Button. Where is this button coming from? Blah, 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 lots of stuff, lots of stuff. So there's a button somewhere. Let's just make it a normal button. Let's make this a normal button too. Ignore the error. Turn this into a standard input. It's dialog modal, which we'll probably need to add. Now, it goes through this part, blah, blah, blah. Nothing important, nothing important. Label input for each, show the code. Then there's a button. There's another button. Another button. So many buttons. Button, lots of buttons. Danger button, disable. Right, okay, come back to Chrome. Dialog modal is our next one. This thing. Create a quick component for dialog modal. Then we're going to need to create a standard modal. come back and add that modal. That one. What's in here? Do I need to grab any others? Nope, that should do what I need. Chrome, and let's hope for the best. Enable. Confirm the password. So my password is new password. Confirm. Ta-da! Cancel. Wow. 2FA is working. And yes, all the code is going to go on GitHub. So let's just quickly go here. Clear that. Git add. Git commit. Adding more Jetstream style features. And it's going to push all that up now. So it's all visible. It's all in this Fortify skeleton repo here. Now drop it in the chat again. Long live chaos. Oh, wow, more spam. Thanks. Nice to meet you, Spammer. How are you doing? Right, so we can enable 2FA. We could do the profile, the avatar, password, two-factor. You haven't enabled it, blah, blah, blah. Enable, there's a button there. If we click enable, I've already confirmed the password recently, so it can do this. So technically, I think we need two forms or two views. I need to kind of maybe take a step back and figure out how best to add this using Laravel Jetstream Fortify Filament stuff. But 2FA is working. Updating our password is working. Adding an avatar for our user is working. So like if I come to here, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing stopping me from going like, I don't know. Let's go to Twitter and grab the first person I see. You. You are going to be my picture today. Preview. Got ya. Save. I am now you. So, I mean, it's easy enough to work with. All of the code is up on GitHub, as I said. It's pretty simple to do, and it's actually quite fun. I'm going to keep working on this in the background, I think. And I want to do a lot more live streams. I've kind of missed doing them. So we'll probably do that again soon. Remember, you can use something like Pines UI to get some really cool stuff. Like click on this pop over here. We can go boop. And what I would probably do is use a slide over like this for when we enable that first kind of modal. That enable button isn't needed right now. So we'll have a look at what we can do. And yeah, I'm going to go back through the view and see what can be changed on it. Everything has been pushed up. So I think that is us for the day. Again, thank you very much. It has been a heck of a lot of fun playing with you, playing with some code. And got any questions, reach out to me on Twitter at JustSteveKing, literally everywhere, Twitter, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Threads, Pinkery. I'm everywhere as JustSteveKing. So reach out if you've got questions, or you can drop them in the comments below. Make sure you like the video if you liked it. And if you want to see more, subscribe so that I can feel a little bit better about spending my time doing this. Other than that, I'm going to bid you adieu. Enjoy the rest of your day and take care. Bye-bye.